So it's our new podcast studio. How exciting.
Exciting. Congratulations. It looks magnificent.
It only made sense that I have my business partner as my first guest.
Your first guinea pig.
Podcast studio. And we're going to cover a lot of these sort of things and chat about entrepreneurship. So the thing that comes up quite often is what happens when you start up? What is the pitfalls? What are the 3-4 things to look out for in the beginning or get right in the beginning? Whatever. And I mean, you've been through the mill. We started this out. You went on. But we've had lots of fun together. And I think you've done an exceptional job running starting up Legends. So Lisa runs Legends, actors and presenters. It looks after some amazing talent in Africa. So tell me more about it. Tell us those 4 things or 3 or 4 things that you think.
First, let me tell you a bit about Legends. So Legends Actors and Performance Management is an agency that's been going for 2 decades. So congratulations to us. Such a blessing. We started 20 years ago and we came into the industry in a time where luckily advertising was changing. You know, they were looking for new faces, they were looking for new talent, and we just came into the market at the right time. However, I realized 3-4 years into business, I realized that if I hadn't had the mentorship that I had, I would have fallen flat on my butt. Because if you don't implement systems, and we take it for granted, implementing systems, right? But systems are so important as well as financial management. Because if you don't implement systems, you're just kind of running on empty, and you eventually run on empty. And if you don't have financial management in place, you think you're making money when in fact you're not making money because the business has overheads. So entrepreneurship is really tough. You never know what's going to happen. And because we're in an industry whereby we're supplying according to the demand, we are hit by economic things. So I'm sure you've heard many times that when businesses cut revenue, they cut marketing first. Marketing theoretically, it affects advertising. So we are the first to feel it, and we feel that knock, and you have to try and reinvent. So we're sitting at a time 20 years later, and we're finding ourselves having to reinvent our service offering. You know, we're having to understand and adjust to social media. We're having to adjust to podcasts. You know, they've become the latest craze. And apparently advertisers seek to advertise more on the podcast because they know who your listenership is. Opposed to the golden days where we had people on soapies, we used to have 15 to 20 actors on retainers, and it was literally month on month we were growing. Suddenly now we've been hit by an industry that you don't have those luxuries anymore. You know, the advertisers change because he wants to make sure that he's speaking to his niche market, opposed to good old days when we used to sit on the couch with mom and dad. We used to watch Generations or Isadingo, and we knew that you're hitting the whole family. So suddenly the advertiser wants to speak to a Pedro Magos, or he wants to speak to a Lisa Modisane, black female, 35 to 45, and he knows exactly what he wants to speak to her about or the products that are right for Lisa, right? So business is really tough in these days. You have to really adjust to the winds. I'm not great with change, but luckily I was blessed with a business partner who understands change and has taught me to navigate better. But the 2 key learnings that any entrepreneur needs, systems and financial management. That for me is key.
Cool. So as soon as we're chatting about where it is, and the times are interesting. I mean, one of the things we've been hit with is
AI
and influences that are AI-driven, generative AI, you know, people that are being created by all these amazing, and now, you know, Sora has come out, so we've got video being creating characters, etc. Where do you see that?
So we found AI started affecting our voice industry in the past year, you know, where clients suddenly would say they record Pedro's voice and then they change his voice and alter it according to whatever they need. So they pay Pedro a once-off fee and suddenly we are losing when they're not paying the other fees, right? So it's had a huge impact on our industry. The only thing that AI hasn't kind of gotten right in South Africa is that we have 9 different languages. So they're not good at the vernacular languages, the Afrikaans language. So we're still blessed in that regard. But also I hear the feedback from advertising agencies is they don't find it as personal. You don't get that personal crisp touch to it. So that's where we need to start leveraging, you know. And one thing we say to a lot of our voices, during the time of COVID, our top talent really set themselves up with home recording studios. So we are offering that quick turnaround. We are offering that versatility. And sometimes if budget does not permit, we're willing to have the conversation, provided that the artist has not been taken for granted, and at least that it's fair to all parties involved.
Okay. So interesting times ahead.
Very interesting times. I mean, like I saw Discovery Health has a commercial, and I think those people are AI. And then there was a Chicken Licken commercial. And I was like, Chicken Licken loves people, but it had an AI character in it, you know? So it's a bit scary, the direction that advertising is going, but you need to make sure that you're not excluded. So it's about us understanding the times and seeing how can we adjust and what can we offer clients as a solution.
I reckon we've probably got a year of all the AI action. Maybe 2, and I reckon that that people are going to want to have humans again. There's definitely a part where there's human authenticity.
Yes.
It'll take a time for us to get authenticity out of AI, but hey, who knows? You know, soon we're going to be having this podcast completely done by AI.
Oh no, please not.
But with that, I think thanks for joining me in the
Thank
Modisane
you.
studio. Welcome to the new studios.
Thank you
It's
so much
good
for
to be
having
back
me.
in Johannesburg. I love
Yes,
it.
good to have you in Africa again. Thank you so much.
Cool.